What is up? What is up? Late night. Watch this. The University of Idaho victims' families, two of them sue the. They're straight suing. They're straight suing. No more sending out any pics. No more nothing right now. We're going to talk about it. I am so happy I'm up late. I've been working all day. All right, let me go ahead and put the screen on for you guys. Good morning, good evening, whatever it is for you guys, wherever you're at. Coming in hot. Here you go. Well, we're first going to go ahead and point to. Yep, right there. There it is.
This was when Brian was still not arrested yet. And so I interviewed Stephen's family. This was when Brian was still not arrested yet. And Steve Gonzalez actually reached out to me via email. He had seen that Peely was following me on TikTok, and several days before she had passed, she had sent my page to Christy and was talking about it. And so they wanted to reach out and do a documentary with me. And I didn't actually meet Stephen in person until a year later when I was filming the demolition of the home on King Road. I was passing through Coeur d'Alene and I had lunch with Steve, and he invited Stephen. But we actually didn't start dating until, gosh, almost even a year after that. We were friends first, and then I invited him to, I was filming a documentary with NBC, and I wanted Stephen to be a part of it, and it was on set where we bonded. We were skipping rocks, you can see in the documentary, and that was really when we first really met, and we just became best friends after that, and it's history.
That's amazing. Stephen, you look so much like your dad, by the way. I'm just noticing in all the pictures and you sitting there with your hat on. What has this been like for you? I mean, this has obviously been just a terrible couple of years when it comes to what happened to your sister, but it's nice to see that there's sort of a bright spot that's come out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of referencing one of my dad's previous interviews, I hate to say it, it sounds terrible and it won't make sense to a lot of people, but our family was kind of built for this type of thing. We're not cowards. We don't shy away from altercation. We were really willing to go to bat for Kaylee to whatever extent that meant. And I truly believe we did try. We ended up losing, and that sucks. It sucks to lose. It really does. But there's a bright spot. I did meet Olivia. I do have my partner for the rest of my life, and I'll hold on to that.
Yeah, and I've seen Olivia, Stephen. I mean, she travels all over the country. I think the first time I saw Olivia, she was wearing literally like camo gear going into the swamp to look for Brian Laundrie. So are you sure you know what you're signing up for here, Stephen?
She's a soldier. She's built for it.
Is she pregnant?
Are you going to take him on the road with you, Olivia? I mean, because you're traveling all the time with what you do.
Yes, we actually talked about this. There's actually some families that have reached out to me that need help here in Idaho that we will be, I will be working with, and I want to bring Stephen along. And we also are planning our future together. Eventually, we would like to homestead, get some chickens, raise a family together. So I probably won't have as much time to be on the road, and I'll be kind of more working from home, but we'll do some stories together and help other families, because that's really what it boils down to, is helping other people and giving them a voice, because some families don't have a voice, or their case is so small that no one pays attention to them.
Yeah, we see it all the time. I mean, people who
Breaking news. Come on, why would they say a true crime TikToker dating Kaylee's brother? I wouldn't call her a TikToker. Really? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I want to say congratulations. And that's awesome. Um
don't, their cases don't get picked up by the media and the police haven't properly investigated, things like that. So you guys can really shine a light on those kinds of things. But I'm thinking about, you're talking about homesteading, Olivia. You're
listen, TikTok for this case has produced some crazy stories, right? Speaking of crazy stories, let's see. I want to put out this one, which is
filed a lawsuit earlier this month saying that a TikTok user, Ashley Gillard, who has more than 100,000 followers, wrongfully and with no basis claimed that Schofield was a murderer. After sending 2 cease and desist letters, similar videos by the TikTok user are still online, and now it appears that this fight will play out in court. We spoke to a Seattle-based First Amendment lawyer about this.
But when you're out there in the public sphere, and when you're on TikTok with hundreds of thousands of viewers out there, you have a responsibility to the public and frankly to yourself that you don't start publishing things recklessly, negligently, or intentionally, unless you have some basis to believe in it.
Earlier this week, Moscow police released a statement saying that they, quote, do not believe the professor was involved. Attorneys for the professor say she was out of town at the time of the November 13 murders, says they can prove that, and says that she never met with or has any relationship with any of the students who are now victims of that murder. As for the TikToker, Gillard doesn't appear to be backing down on any of these claims. In a video posted 3 days ago, she says she does have information, and she says that will come out in court. Live in studio, Sebastian Robertson, King 5 News.
all right. Well, I want to see
They will see in court why it is true.
A TikToker doubles down on her claims that a college professor is the real killer in the University of Idaho murder case. Constitutional law professor Kermit Roosevelt joins to discuss. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
You would think that after being sued, you would quiet down and not double down on the behavior that you're being sued over. Well, that is not the case for Ashley Gillard. This is the TikToker who's claimed that a University of Idaho professor is the real killer behind the quadruple homicide case. I'm talking about the killings of 21-year-old Kaylee Gonzalez.
Well, is Ashley here? Ashley, are you here? I got asked to be a witness in this case. Can I get a witness? Amen.
21-year-old Madison Mogan, 20-year-old Zana Kernodle, and 20-year-old Ethan
You guys
Chapin,
see me on the stand?
whose bodies were found in their
I'm like, I don't have
off-campus
anything to
rental
offer.
on November 13th. Now, at the time of this recording, no arrests, no publicly identifiable suspect, no indication if the murder weapon's been recovered. And what
I was
this
asked.
has generated is people online coming to their own conclusions and theories as to what happened. Well, Miss Gillard has posted videos that Rebecca Schofield, an associate professor and chair of the history department, was in a relationship with one of the victims. It seems like she's indicating it's Miss Gonsalves, and then that she planned and carried out the murders of these 4 people.
I haven't done readings on certain agencies and entities because that's kind of crossing the line. But just know, I'm not the only one who suspect Rebecca Schofield. They want both of them.
Now, Schofield filed a defamation lawsuit against Gillard.
People just don't get it. Like, I've been against people, big and small corporations and giants and systemic policies and racism and won. They all regret coming against me. All of them. Now Rebecca is going to be added to that list of regretful people.
But that hasn't stopped the social media personality from doubling down on her claims. No, in fact, she sat down for an interview with News Nation.
When I go to court and they see the evidence or they see how I connect the dots, then they'll make a decision as it pertains to whether they want to continue to live in blinders or believe it. If they don't, that's I don't care.
Let me bring in Kermit Roosevelt. Kermit is a David Berger professor for the Administration of Justice and focuses on constitutional
I don't even
law.
know what to
Kermit,
say.
great to have you here on Sidebar.
Thanks for having me.
Ashley, what
What do
the
you make of her
hell?
comments?
Well, it suggests that she's just not taking a realistic perspective on this, particularly like if they don't believe me, I don't care. If they don't believe her, she's going to be liable for a lot of money.
And again, I said that you would think that somebody who's hit with a defamation lawsuit, which is very serious, would quiet down. She has not. She is doubling down. My concern, and by the way, just to let everybody know, the Moscow Police Department came out and said at the time of this investigation, detectives do not believe the female associate professor and chair of the history department at the University of Idaho suing a TikTok user for defamation is involved in this crime. A part of me is concerned that her going to court, her fighting this is giving her a platform to further her claims. What do you think about that?
Well, if you're looking for a rational explanation for the way she's behaving, I think that's all it could be. It's clout chasing. She's looking for publicity. She's trying to magnify her reach. And yeah, getting involved in a controversy.
Look at that mess behind him, man. Look at that. Just absolute mess. Okay, so this is where we're at in the case. So there is a jury that will decide the damages because the judge already did a summary judgment and he said that yeah, no. But as far as like where it's going to be at is there malice? What is this malicious? Does she truly believe in what she's doing? You know what I mean? And does she believe that? And so I'm like, where the hell do I come into play on this? So I don't know. This is my question. My question is if I was just flipping over cards, right? And I was just following the cards, well, the fucking cards were wrong. You know what I mean? Or I learned how to read these cards wrong. But I don't know. Don't the cards tell you, or you just put your own? I don't know anything about it. Maybe I should like learn how to. Can you guys imagine if I started using Hector as like a card? Like, I don't know. I just said, can't y'all just say like sorry or something? I don't think she can. If she can prove that she didn't make any money off of it, then I think that would matter. I don't know.
Like this can do that. It's probably going to come at significant cost for her. So it doesn't seem like a good thing to be doing. It doesn't seem like a smart reputational harm.
Believes that Schofield is the killer. This was different than other cases where we say, didn't you know this wasn't true? And didn't you know this was false, but you pushed it anyway, maybe for profit, maybe for attention. If she truly believes this, is that going to change anything?
Yeah.
No. So
what?
Truly believing what you're saying is not a defense to
what?
defamation. It depends on whether it's false, and it depends on whether you were negligent or reckless in not realizing that it was false. So if you're sort of deluded and you really believe what you're saying, but there's no reason to believe it, you're liable for that.
And something that you hit upon that kind of
okay, so I have a I don't even know what to say. Ashley, where are you? Where this is so okay. So my advice to Ashley was, I was like, hey, I would try to be creative about my defense here, and I would be saying that, dude, I guess I think I was somebody trained me wrong with these cards. I don't know how these cards went completely left, but maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, no, I know what I'm doing though. I'm like, yeah, you're not understanding my defense for you though. Like, just say you didn't know what you're doing. Say these cards, you know what I mean? I'm just reading these cards. No, but in all seriousness, she truly believes. She truly believes that, but then I wanted to hear what he had to say, which was, yeah, if it's just delusional though, like, and I said, well, I guess I would have to hear, like, they're talking over, like, play one of her segments.
Even if Schofield wins this lawsuit, even if there's a settlement, her reputation can never come back, right? Because we kind of saw this in the Alex Jones case, where even though Alex Jones eventually, kind of backtracked on the Sandy Hook comments, there were people who still believed him, and there were people who were still coming after the families. There are people, like you said, online who are going to maybe have trouble distinguishing between what is reality and what is true. She has already come under the radar. She's already had to been looked at by the police. What happens if, do you think she'll ever be able to have the life that she had? Do you think that her reputation could ever be recovered? And I'm curious what someone in her position should do next.
What?
Well, I hope she can have the life she used to have. I would say there's sort of two different levels on which this operates. And, professionally and with the police, I don't think there's a problem, because I think everyone understands there's no basis for this. But then you have the crazy world of the internet, where people are taken in by conspiracy theories. And it's very hard to undo something like this.
Nobody's talking about
and then the other problem, and an interesting comparison to Alex Jones, is Alex Jones probably can't pay the full judgments against him, but he has a lot of money. And there's a lot of money available, and he's really going to suffer a serious loss from this. But who knows how much money Ashley has? She might be relatively judgment proof. So you can get a big judgment against her, but if she has no money, it doesn't really have any effect.
Yeah. Well, what happens if wouldn't there be some order that she has to stop saying this, or could that be a situation? Or not really? If she just keeps doubling down, let's say there's a judgment against her, but she has no money and she keeps pushing the falsehood.
Well, eventually you can get an injunction against it, and then if she defies the injunction, you can get contempt of court, and so eventually it could turn into a criminal offense.
Yeah, I that's the part that I'm interested in, because she seems to not be stopping. And
okay, yeah, good boy. 5150. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. Well, let's talk about the next big thing. We got people suing. We got some people being sued, and that's the Moscow Police Department. So Moscow Police Department is like, nope, we are halting everything. Let's see. Oh God, okay, here.
Okay, what exactly is going on here, and are there consistencies in relationship to the statements that I'm hearing?
Her level of intoxication was pretty high, by her own admission. They'd all been out drinking, big football game the day before. She's talking about the number of White Claws she had, a Borg, all of this stuff. The defense was really going to hammer her and go after her, had a trial.
Okay, now Newsflash. There is a girl that was interviewed that said that Dylan was at the party and said, yeah, I'm just really not feeling it. I'm not going to be drinking tonight. I'm not drinking tonight. So there's a girl that was interviewed in the Idaho State Police files that found it interesting, whatever the word was that she used, hearing that Dylan was talking about being drunk because Dylan wasn't drinking. I don't know if you guys have come across that yet. So that was just whoa for me. Like the girl was like, wait, what? Dylan said that she wasn't feeling it, and so she wasn't drinking. And so it was that it was concerning to her that Dylan would be saying that she was drunk and be using alcohol as an to describe anything or that it would affect anything.
They'll move forward.
Yeah, they would have tried to establish her state of mind that evening, no question about it. And, she would have had to really face, some tough questioning, which, juries, as you know more than anybody, they look at that and go, okay, what's the character of this particular witness that I'm listening to? They measure that again against their own life experiences and, quite frankly, their college life experience. And they say, oh, well, I was like that in the past. And, jurors is, they do and say different things, in that room when they're, coming to a verdict and they're all discussing it. And I think, though, she probably would have been very credible across the table. And I think she would have been ultimately, defense would have beat her up a little, but I think ultimately it would have leveled off into, did she see what she said she saw?
Mm-hmm. This whole thing about thinking it was Kaylee that she heard running down the steps, thinking that it was Kaylee who she heard crying. We now know that's not true. Kaylee was upstairs in the bed with Maddie and had been attacked. She got more information. She figured out it was likely Xana who was crying. The feet coming down the steps, the boots she thought she heard. That had to be Koberger.
Yeah, I mean, and again, right, we go back to Anjanette, this idea of, what's her cognitive thought process while this is all going.
Have you guys seen Dylan's second interview that's in the Idaho State Police files? Dylan was falling asleep on the couch. Have you guys heard that? Have you guys heard him about Dylan's second interview? Hey, what's up, Karen? Oh boy. No, you guys haven't? Not yet? Oh. Nothing further.
Going down. We know for a fact there's a lot of fear going on here with her, and that emotion alone can, cause people to freeze.
And that is so creepy. And they felt they were being watched. That to me is so scary.
Okay, we have to talk about this. I'm just not going to let this. You guys, they thought they were being watched from like the year before. Okay, there was 2 girls that did not return back to go live at that house that said that they didn't return back to go live at that house because they were afraid that something like this was going to happen. And that whatever was going on in the previous year, like, wow. Okay. Wow. The girl that went back with Dylan, she's the one that gave Bethany and Dylan these timestamps in Bethany's, it's interesting because in Bethany's interview, when she's reading off timestamps back from the Moscow Police Department interview that she did when she was back in Nevada on like November 16th. I remember her giving like, I'm like, how would she know that that's at 1:22 and whatever? She got those timestamps from the girl that was at the house that walked back with Dylan. And that girl was she thought about contemplating staying in that bottom bedroom, and she ultimately decided not to. So the last picture that she takes at King Road was at like 1:33, and the first picture that she takes back at her dorm room was at 2:19. And she left before Kaylee and Maddie got back, because she didn't see them. So she would have had to have left the house by at least 1:50, 1:53. And when the girl was leaving, or right before the girl was leaving, one of her last pictures she's taking, and like Dylan's falling asleep at like 1:30, like passing out, like laying under the covers. And then Dylan and Bethany claim to have gone upstairs when Maddie and Kaylee come home, and they have conversations upstairs. And then Dylan goes to her room and goes to sleep. And then Bethany decides to go outside with Maddie to let the dog out. But Maddie doesn't say, or Bethany's never mentioned Kaylee in any of her stories. Where was Kaylee? Did Kaylee just stay upstairs in her room? I mean, what? And then after they do that, then Bethany's like, I come back into my bedroom. I go to sleep. But then Maddie comes down to say, hey, do you have the dog? But yet Maddie calls Bethany at 2:53. And both the girls' phone would be stopped after 2:53. Weird timeline. And no mention about Xana or Ethan. And we have Xana all the way taking a picture at 2 a.m. and she's still at the Sigma Chi house. But the question is where was Ethan?
I mean, they had to trust their gut at some level, but it's terrifying to me that they felt they were being watched, and I'm sure they kind of blew it off. But this other roommate, she said, I always felt like we were being watched, and that is so creepy.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And if you take that sense of unknowing, right, in of itself, and then we now read about Koberger's behaviors, even where other females around him had the exact same sense. This guy's creepy. There's something wrong. He's always staring at me. Okay, I mean, those are very specific type of behaviors, and for all of the girls inside of that house,
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about all the overachievers right here. Okay, so I found in what is it? I think it's report like 78. Did you guys know that Kaylee was talking to Xana's ex-boyfriend? Did you guys know that? According to one of these reports. Did you guys hear that? Karen, I know it's late, Lana, but I'm here with you, my firecracker. Look at you. $1,999.98. Aww. Member for 14 months. Message meant donation for your production. You're the best, Karen. Karen. You get a little shaky there. Shaky. Yeah, so I want to show you something. Okay. So the party that they went to, it was like 2 people to every one. So this was an interview. This is report supplemental 81, and it is tip 580. And so on November 19th, the Idaho State Police Detective Leslie Lehman conducted a phone interview with this member and was identified as blank of the blank blank at the University of Idaho. This person was located at home in Tri-Cities, Washington. When I called him, I asked him about the blank party the night of November 12th. He confirmed there was a party at the blank house and there was a guest list for the party. He said there was a ratio of 2 guests allowed for every, I'm guessing, Sigma Chi member. Then explained the security measures what the fraternity uses to avoid people being able to sneak into the party. And the party went until 1 a.m. on November 12th. So that'd be into the 13th, which is interesting. If he's saying that it was only till 1, that means, I'm guessing, the lodge area. So Blank said that he has spoken to members of the fraternity who saw Ethan and Xana at the party. This person believes that blank was the last person to see Ethan and Xana at the blank house. This person recalled seeing or speaking to this other person about Xana having never been to blank neighboring fraternity. They planned to take Xana to visit the neighboring fraternity at the conclusion of the party, but Xana and Ethan did not make it. So they were planning on going to a different fraternity, supposedly. This person was at the blank party but did not remember seeing Ethan and Xana. He said his house members who remembered seeing Ethan and Xana also included blank, and this person who may have had phone contact with Ethan at 1:30 a.m. This person confirmed that there was no surveillance video in this house, in this fraternity house. He said personal videos taken in the house are not supposed to be posted on the internet. That's like a rule. Blank confirmed that the blank of the blank is and he would also have a copy of the list of those in attendance at the party on November 12th. This person had Ethan on Snapchat and said many other fraternity brothers would have had his Snapchat. This person said Ethan's closest friends in the fraternity would be, and he listed them. This person said that he believed that the blank party was the last party of the night at the campus. So, like, there may have been after parties at different fraternities or at the blank. Blank last saw Ethan and Xana at the blank on November 11th. So this person didn't even see them on the 12th. Xana has never spoke to this person about anything that has ever troubled her or having issues with people at her apartment. This person has never interacted with Kaylee or Maddie and believed that the people he has listed would have known them because of their friendship with Ethan and Xana. Now, Leslie Lehman calls another person after that interview, and she says that this person was with Ethan and Xana at the blank party, which ended at 1 on November 13th. Following the end of the party, Ethan and Xana went to blank, 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 number blank in the blank house. So after the party, they went to somebody's apartment, like portion of the fraternity house. After Ethan and Xana gathered some items in the blank, blank, the group, including this person and and this person's girlfriend, returned to blank within the blank house. Blank believed the couple packed up a couple of beers and Ethan's black dress jacket. Ready? So remember when, okay, the girl that was with Dylan, they go into the house at 1122 King, and she's like, I had to go right to the bathroom, and I went to the second floor, and I went to the bathroom. And then she talks about there was a video that she took for momentarily in there, and it was reverse style, so it was like facing outward, and then it was facing back inward. And they could see like there was like boxers and whatever. In any of the pictures that we've seen, where has anybody come across Ethan's black dress jacket? Make a note of that. Possibly, so Xana possibly gathered Ethan's black dress jacket and a couple of beers and packed them into like a backpack. Okay, this is what this kid said. So that Ethan's black dress jacket, that Xana possibly put it into a bag that was carried by Xana. This was the last time that this person saw Ethan and Xana. Ethan and Xana did not tell this person where they were going to go after leaving. Blank can only assume that Ethan and Xana left on foot and returned to the 1122 King Road house. This person said that he and a group went over to blank following the blank party, but he did not see Ethan and Xana at blank. This person said that he and Ethan attended a formal at blank prior to the party. He said that the theme at the party was this. It was a sports oriented, but could not really recall exactly what Ethan and Xana were wearing during the parties. He couldn't remember what they were wearing. I'm just like, come on, man. So they were trying to like figure out what they were wearing. Blank interacted with Ethan almost every day, as both were in blank and close friends. He didn't have any enemies. And now in Dylan, or I'm sorry, in one of these other interviews, it was from Dylan knew that Ethan had an apartment, but she didn't know where it was located. And then somebody else knew that Ethan had an apartment, and that it wasn't that he would have definitely walked back to 1122 King Road or went and stayed there because of the distance of his apartment from the campus. So that came out in another interview. So I started thinking about like, well, if someone's like saying, hey, his apartment's a little bit away, I'm curious where Ethan's apartment, and that it's like not even coming up yet. So right here, this kid says, blank could not speak to issues with Xana's security around the area or her apartment. But this person felt that Ethan would spend the night at Xana's due to the distance to his own apartment and not because she was experiencing security issues at her apartment. So due to where like his own apartment was located, that he would have spent the night with her that night. Isn't that interesting? This person emailed me the blank party attendees attendance list and a timeline he had established regarding the night of November 12, 2022, and the interaction with Ethan and Xana and the blank members. The documents were forwarded to ISP. So this kid created some type of a timeline. I'm curious how he did it. That's like, I thought was one of the best interviews so far to like track Ethan and Xana's whereabouts. I don't know if you guys know this, but Kara, she was interviewed by police at the Cooney County Jail on November 20th, Idaho State Police. But they did not enter Kara's written report. Leslie Lehman did not put it in until the end of January of 2023. So they interviewed her on 11/20 though. And Kara's interview, it's interesting. Detective Timothy Snell of the Idaho State Police, but there's a ton of redactions. I was advised by blank, 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 blank during her blank, blank had made statements regarding the homicides of blank, blank, Xana Canoodle, and blank, blank. Upon arrival, blank, blank was blank, 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 blank. Upon explaining why we were there, this person began speaking prior to being able to activate the audio recording. And I said, get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? So this was not when it was able to be audio recorded yet. Were they able to tap in? But this, whoever this is, explained her blank, blank, blank had made statements to her that X Kernoodle's death better not be due to blank, blank, blank. Blank's last spoke with Xana about a month prior to the homicide when she attempted to coordinate having lunch with her. This person said that, I believe it's her mom, said that Xana ended up being too busy with classes and was not able to meet. This person said she was unaware of anyone who'd want to hurt her, but she said blank questioned her, inquiring if she had any blank, 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 and if Xana could have been killed as a blank, blank, blank. Blank, blank told us she has never been involved, and said that hated Xana and stated we should look at her. So whoever this person is, and I just think it's, I mean, I could be wrong. How old do you guys think Kara is right now? This one's pretty interesting. But she wanted the cops to look into somebody because she stated that we should look at this person because this person said that blank, blank, blank hated Xana. And I was like, what? It better not be because of blank, blank, blank. Whoosh. Whoa. Anyways, I wanted to come on here for a little bit. Yes, I'm putting together this. It's taking a long time, but I'm sorting things through with this. All these timestamps. True. Blankety blank blank blank. Blank blank. Blank blank blank. So yeah. I feel really bad for the family. Maddie's mom, once they put a temporary restraining order on not having anything released from Maddie's room. And it was only about Maddie's room. But then the cops just said, well, we're just going to stop on everything right now. Until it's ruled on. So we'll find out. We need these docs unredacted, right? Blankety blank. Blank, blank, blank. Yeah, so it was just interesting. There should be a backpack with a rolled up black jacket, and I'm just curious. start digging. I saw a couple different backpacks, but I would think that a black dress jacket, that's going to be very difficult to get in a book bag. I mean, it's going to take up a lot of your room. So I'm going to leave you some beers. So I also think it's interesting that they would pack up and take beers with them. If they're just walking back to the 1122 King Road house, because they have their own shit there, Also, did you guys notice that? Have you seen the pictures of Bethany's room and Dylan's room? And they were taking the pictures of all the different alcohol. And this alcohol is in cases, but it's not like all the same. It's if it was like a case of like, I don't know, whatever, pick something, Bud Light. It's not like it's all Bud Light. It's all different beers, and to include like it could be beers, it could be seltzers. Did you guys see those pictures yet? So it's like so think about having a box of like a 30 pack, right? But yet you pack it with shit that's just not what's in it. That's not what it comes with. I think it's strange. Yeah, we were talking about that. Like if people would be selling it, we were talking about that. But yeah, so come back and join me tomorrow, or it's actually like today, but because we're gonna put us back on track with going back into like chronological order. It is so ridiculously obvious that this was the most insanely, like, nothing of this investigation is what produced the fruits of this arrest. Nothing. It's that obvious. It's ridiculously obvious. No wine, please. Morgan Freeman. Also, Dylan in her second interview said that she thought that somebody was looking through her window. It's wild. We'll get into it, but it's just crazy. But yeah, this investigation, the FBI did everything, whatever was significant. I mean, all of it. To the point that Leslie Lehman is writing up reports and making it seem like that she was doing stuff when she didn't. We're going to go over it. It's wild. It's just wild. But I'm going to expose it all for what it is. And I don't know. I mean, it doesn't mean, like I said, doesn't mean that he's not guilty. It just, I have no idea how they were expecting this to go at trial. I just don't even fucking know what to say. Whew. Nope, there was no locks and doors. But all right, guys, go get some rest. Be back here for the expose of the four. I think we're right around like the 50 supplemental mark. So something is absolutely wild. Something's going on. Something's up, man. Something's up. Get some rest.